Welcome to this fall edition of Wildcat Sports Update. I'm your host, Jim Boyle, and I'm honored to have in the studio our three senior captains of our girls volleyball team. With me today are Haley Wilson, Lauren Hutcherson, and Alyssa Freesia. Hopefully, Alyssa, I got that name.
Yes.
So let's go right through. Haley, introduce yourself, what position you play, how long have you played high school volleyball?
I'm Haley Wilson. I've played for the high school for 4 years. I've been on varsity for 3, and I'm a setter.
Okay. Lauren?
I'm Lauren. I am a DS. I have been playing for 4 years, 2 on varsity.
And DS is a?
Defensive specialist.
Perfect.
Right.
And
I'm Alyssa. I've been playing since I was a freshman, so all 4 years, and I've been on varsity for 3, and I'm a libero.
okay, so we talk about different positions here. So libero, what is a libero? People hear that word libero.
So libero is pretty much kind of like the whole back row person that runs the entire back row. It's really like key in defense, and we wear a different colored jersey.
Okay, and you can only play the back row,
Only play
correct?
the back row, yes.
Okay, so defensive specialist is what?
It's kind of similar. I mean, it's both defense, but I switch out when I get to the front row. I mean, I'm not really going to be much help because I'm kind of short. But we basically do the same thing. We just play, like, she plays middle back usually, and I play left back. It's both defense, and we both just handle the back row.
Okay, and then Haley, the setter.
Yeah, so basically, I play offense and defense. So a lot of people compare it to like the quarterback of like a football team. So as a setter, I play defense when the ball's not on our side, and then our side, I basically run the offense.
Okay, I mean, a setter, I assume, is the person they want to get the collect the ball, set the person up to spike
Yes.
and score.
Yeah.
So what other positions have we missed? We have a defensive specialist, we have a setter, we have a libero. I'm sure that we have a couple offensive players, like the people who are going to spike and who are going to play outside and inside. So who wants to take that on?
Yeah, I'll take it. So we also have like an outside hitter who hits from the left, and then we have a middle hitter who hits from the middle, and then a right side who hits from the right.
Okay, are there anybody who would specialize in serving? Do you have a server specialist at all? Is that something
No,
that happens?
everyone usually like serves on the team.
Okay, and Haley, you serve as a setter too then?
Yes.
Okay, how different types of serves, what would that entail? So you hit an overhand, underhand, or how does that work?
Typically, once you get to the varsity level, you don't really see underhand serves anymore. But for overhand, there's like standing float, there's standing top spin, there's jump floats, there's jump top spins, all sorts of time.
So it's everybody, but everybody's going to go overhead.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Lauren, I mean, we have the size of the three, or I was expecting to see the tall volleyball player, but
As my feet are
I'm
swinging.
sure. So I assume that there are players on the team who are playing the front row, or even the back row, who will become the offensive spikers. What does it take to be that type of player?
An offensive player?
Yes.
I definitely think height is a key factor.
Yeah.
Talent does help, like obviously, but height is definitely a good factor to have. I think you need to be able to read the ball and read the court, especially to score and like get a kill easily.
Okay. And does heights are there? What's the difference between how many tall girls and how many short girls we have?
On the team?
Yes.
Well, I think Maddie McCarran and Sarah Levita are our tallest players. I think Maddie is, 6 feet?
6
Yeah.
feet,
And I
almost
think
6'1".
Yeah, and Sarah is around there too.
Okay, so they're very important players.
Oh,
the
yes,
players who are going to score the
definitely,
points.
yes.
Yeah.
So then, Alyssa, let's go to how a game is played. I guess it's best of 5.
Yeah, best of 5 pretty much, but
Yeah.
it typically goes to like 3.
Okay, and how many points you need to score to be victorious?
So technically it's 25 minus the fifth set, which is up to 15, but you always have to win by 2.
Okay, and do you score? It's not like backyard or outdoor basketball, as a volleyball. You score in every service. Every time there's a service, is there a point scored? So,
Yes.
So the defense can score a point
Yep.
off of the serve.
Yes.
Okay, and how do you get Haley as the setter position? Are you getting a position to receive the serve? Would that be something that you would do?
So typically on serve receive, we shift our defense around so I can be up at the net, so I don't have to take the first ball.
Okay, so then again, for the uninitiated volleyball person watching it, when the ball is served, then who's the one who has? What's the job of the person receiving that serve?
Mostly just to put a pass that I can get to so I can set up our hitters.
Okay. And then, again, real quickly, since it's not indoor outdoor, what are the different types of ways, Lauren, you can receive the ball? I mean, you do this, can you do this? Or,
Yeah.
or what can't you do with your hands?
I mean, you can pretty much touch a ball anyway except with the bottom of your foot, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously the typical way is passing it. That's like the forearm pass. You can also take it overhand as a set if it's higher than your platform.
Okay, and how do you guys practice those types of positions?
We do a lot of serve receive drills for practice, do a lot of hitting lines, and me as a defense, I don't hit, so I mainly just practice receiving those hits and moving my feet to the ball.
Okay, so as a defensive player, offense, defense, again, it's really, you're playing offense and defense at the same time in reality, is that correct?
Kind of. I mean, Haley tries to set me back row. It works sometimes, but.
So are there specific defensive positions that you'll play? Or is it just with the 6 of you, it's just you have the defensive specialists and the liberos in the back, the setters and the front offensive players in the front? Or do you have specific plays, you have set plays for anything, Haley, since you're the setter?
We try to run plays as often as we can, but sometimes if it's a tough serve, the pass just isn't there for a play. Like with Maddie McCarron, we try to run like sets so she comes behind me kind of, so I'm setting her back so it throws off the other side. But sometimes if the pass isn't there, we just make do.
Okay, and as as the quarterback, like you say,
Yeah.
are you then shouting out instructions as plays going on so people in the right place?
Yeah, I try to at least.
Okay, and as the defensive specialist, are you waiting to hear from her, or are you just going back and your job is to make sure you get it to the setter at the proper time, Lauren?
On serve receive?
On almost anything.
Oh,
If
yes.
So happy on the serve, but let's say the serve comes over, we set it, you get it on the other, you spike to the other side. They recover, and then they're about to come back over to you. Is the defensive specialist calling a play out or getting people aligned, or is that the libero's responsibility, or is that the setter's responsibility?
Usually it's the setter's responsibility, I'd say. I mean, the back row puts it up definitely, and then like Haley said, depending on if the pass is there or not, the setter and the middle or the hitters decide what type of plays to run.
Okay, and then Alyssa, do you find level of experience helps or hinders?
Oh, definitely.
Or it does help?
Definitely.
Okay, why we couldn't bring some 6'1" person off the street
Yeah.
without any experience? Why does the experience really help in volleyball?
It's just because there's so many rules to the game that you need to practice it. And I feel like all 3 of us, we started playing club after our freshman year, and our growth has been insane. Like, we are definitely not the same players that we were our freshman year, and it's just getting those touches really helps to enhance everybody's techniques and skills.
That's a very good answer. So last year was a weird year. We'll start with you, Haley. It was, you guys were all juniors.
Yes.
And it was the year of COVID with masks and very much restrictive. This year we still have the indoor mask mandate in place. How does that impact you guys playing? I assume everyone needs to wear the mask to play.
Yeah.
And how has that impacted the season so far?
I mean, obviously you're out of breath more often, but other than that, we kind of just adjusted to it. Like, it doesn't really bother us that much anymore.
Okay, and Lauren, anything else they have put in restrictions in place for indoor volleyball? Because you're really the only fall sport other than competitive cheer when they're inside that is indoors all the time to play. Were there any of the restrictions that you've seen put on you guys?
I remember for club there was one restriction. You couldn't like pass the 10-foot line when hitting, just to like keep the contacts of the teams separate. But other than that, for high school, there haven't really been any restrictions other than the masks.
Okay, and lesson much more fun this year than last year?
Oh, yeah. I think especially since last year's season was abbreviated, we have way more touches.
Okay, did you guys, just real quickly, show of hands, was it really beneficial to have the spring season and then come right into the fall? Yes or no?
Yeah, I would
I'd
say
say
so.
yes.
Yeah, okay. And then, so going forward, you guys are all senior captains, and it's a senior-dominated team. What do you see your role, Lauren, your role as the captain? How do you go about being the captain? What's your role?
I try to provide a comforting environment for especially the freshmen in the program. I know for me, I started playing soccer, and when I got to high school, I switched to volleyball, and it was kind of a difficult transition, obviously, because you've never played a sport before, and you don't really know what's going to happen or how the season's going to go. So I tried to do the best that I could to provide a comforting environment and make everyone feel welcome, especially if they didn't really know what was going on.
Excellent. Haley, how about you? How do you see your role as the captain?
I'm definitely more of a quiet captain. I feel like out of the three of us, I'm usually like the one who you can go to after a game to talk one-on-one. I feel like I play the music on the bus too, so I feel like I'm the hype up man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you are.
Definitely.
We'll get to the music a little bit later on in the program, which is interesting to listen. So you're the quiet captain.
Yeah.
And you're the comforting captain. So Alyssa, I hate to think that, are you the loud captain?
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
I'm definitely the loud one on the court, kind of yelling at everyone, pushing everyone to be their hardest and try their best and everything.
Well, that's good. So you guys have had you made the tournament. I
Yes.
heard that this morning, which congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not an easy, we don't play in an easy league in the Middlesex League at all either. So just let's look at the makeup of the team. We talk about each person plays a different position, but let's start with you, Haley. Just the breakdown of how many seniors, juniors, sophomores, and juniors are there any freshmen that play? Or
Did you say Haley? I thought you said
I'm
Haley.
pointing at you.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. So there's 9 seniors, 4 juniors, and then 4 freshmen. Or no,
2 freshmen.
sophomores. Oh my God. 4 sophomores, right?
2.
4. Oh
That's
my
good.
goodness.
We're not going to worry. So the question is, only 6 can play at a time.
Yes.
Correct? So as upperclassmen versus underclassmen, does everybody get equal playing time, or is it just based upon what the coach is feeling, or is there a rotation that happens?
I mean, I feel like not everyone gets played on varsity. There's typically not equal playing time, but I feel like it just comes down to who shows the most growth and willingness and determination in practice that coach sees.
Good. And then now we know we made the tournament, so we've already sort of like let the cat out of the bag from goal-wise. But Lauren, what were some of the goals before the season started that you had set for your team had set for themselves?
I know we talked at the beginning of the season actually about our goals, and one of them was to make the playoffs, which we have done, so that's good. I also know, since you said it was a senior-dominated team, a lot of the seniors did want to just have a good last season and make it like their best.
Okay, and then Haley, I'm going to ask you the next part of the goal question. Since we know where we are, what's now the goal going into the playoffs or the tournament, and do we know who our opponent is yet?
I don't think we know for sure who our
Not yet?
opponent is.
Yeah.
Right? Not yet. But I think our goal for playoffs is to go as far as we possibly can go, maybe win. I think it would be the first time in a while that we would win playoffs.
It's even, I think, record-breaking since like 2004 that we've even qualified for the playoffs.
Oh, this is the first time since 04?
Yeah.
That's a good sign then. So things are moving
Good
forward
omen.
well.
Definitely.
So let's go with Haley. Top moment of the season then so far for you?
Oh.
Probably.
That's a tough one.
Probably when we first went to 4 sets with Wakefield, because that's never
That
happened
was good.
before.
Yeah,
that's a good
they
one.
had a tough student section.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're challenging in all sports sometimes.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So the Wakefield game where you went to 4 sets with them. Anything else, Lauren, that you can think of that sticks out?
Just playing our best against teams that we've previously lost to in 3. I think in Woburn, Burlington, we've gone to 4 sets. Those have been really good games.
Okay, and Alyssa?
I just think especially playing teams for the second time around, playing them Tewksbury, we played them as our second game in the season, and we just played them as our last game in the season on Friday, and it our growth and keeping up with the points was just amazing to compare.
Okay, now you guys play in the Middlesex League, and I know I had the coach Lauren on last spring, and the 2 volleyball captains as well. And it's really not the easiest league to play, and there are some really powerful programs in the Middlesex League. So, Lauren, how do you overcome playing those bigger schools who have kids who may be playing club volleyball for forever? Is there a method to that madness?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's just about communication and sticking together. I think it's important that you back up your teammates, and if they have a bad pass or they shank a ball, you have to tell them that they'll get the next one, but they also need to believe it. So it goes 2 ways, and you really need to be on that same level with your teammates.
Good. And Haley, as the program gets into the future, Is there one or two teams that, if you look into the newspaper, you get Twitter, that you see that they've beaten in the Middlesex League? Where are you going to, wow, we really made it now? What are those teams, that one or two teams that you can't wait for Wilmington to beat?
Melrose and Winchester, for sure.
Definitely.
For sure, yeah.
And that's because they're good, or because they're good and obnoxious, or they're just Melrose and Winchester?
All of the above, honestly. All of the above.
Okay, Alyssa, same thing?
Yeah, and I'd say definitely Wakefield, because Wakefield's been one of our
Yeah.
biggest rivals for a while.
Okay, good. And then with the underclassmen, do we have, I think it's 2 JV teams then?
Yes.
So there's not a freshman team, so there's a JV team and a JV A and B.
Yes.
And varsity. And I think was there a good number of girls that turned out to try out and play?
Yeah, there was actually, I think this is one of our biggest years, number-wise.
Okay, and then compared to last year, Lauren, the not the level of talent, but the competitiveness of the team. Do you think this year's team much more competitive in the league than last year?
Oh yes, definitely. I think the number of seniors really helped with that, especially because I think majority of the seniors have played club, so that really adds a lot.
Okay, let's talk about the club. We talk about club. So all 3 of you have played club.
Yes.
And somebody mentioned you started as freshmen and you played club.
Yes.
So before you were a freshman at Wilmington High School, Lauren, you told me you played soccer. Haley, did you play volleyball, or what were you doing, and how did you get to become a volleyball player?
I didn't do anything before high school. I was not a very athletic kid. I actually only tried out for volleyball because 2 of my other friends were, and they convinced me to do it too because I thought it'd be fun. So.
Okay, so that's good. Then
Yeah.
you did it. It was
Yeah.
fun, and then you started playing club.
Yes.
And what do you guys all play for the same club, or you're in competing clubs, Alyssa?
Me and Haley, well, actually all 3 of us started out at Evo, but Lauren switched over to Mass Impact, so me and Haley are still at Evo though.
Okay.
Big
and,
rivals.
And what do you learn? What do you learn from club? Is it just more playing time, or are they giving you more skill sets? Or?
Well, it's more playing time, definitely. It's getting those touches during the off season and playing more tournaments and meeting more competitive players and meeting girls from all over Massachusetts. And for me personally, I learned that I wanted to be a libero at club. I learned that I wanted to be defense.
And when the freshman girls come up to you, Lauren, do you suggest following that same path, or is that something the coach is suggesting? How's that work?
Absolutely. We actually had a conversation. The main seniors that played club and captains with the JV teams that were interested, and a lot of girls were interested. So that's really good to see.
Good for the future of the
Oh
program.
yes, definitely.
Now, Haley, is there? You said you started playing in 9th grade. Is there any middle school opportunities, or is that all club for kids in Wilmington?
In Wilmington, it's mostly club for middle school girls. So it's kind of hard to get girls interested into it because there's not a big push for volleyball in Wilmington. But we're hoping to change that. We're trying to start a middle school league, I think, actually.
That's good. So that'll help us transition. You guys have been around the program for 4 years. Over the last 3 years, we just hired, Lauren Donahue was hired last year as the coach. She coached the spring season, and then she was on a maternity leave, I think. So now you've got a new coach, or an interim coach, and then prior to that, you've had 3 coaches in reality in 3 years. How did you handle that, Lauren?
So I think we all have known Katie. She coaches at Evo. I think having multiple coaches, it can be hard, especially within that span. But I also think it's really good because of the perspective. Every coach is going to say something different, and it's good to get those new ideas.
Okay, and Alyssa, the transition sounds like, was Katie here before as the interim, as like a JV coach, or is she
No,
new to the program?
Katie's new to the program. Like Lauren said, she's been coaching at Evo for a while.
And I think, isn't that where did Coach Donahue coach in club?
Evo.
Evo
yeah.
as well. Did you guys have her in club as your coach?
No.
No. So what do you take forward, having gone through 3 different types of coaches? How do you tell the younger kids what to expect? How can they expect? All of a sudden, now next year they're going to be back to Coach Donahue. Mm-hmm. How do you kind of help them with that transition?
I just say I'm the type of person just to kind of like roll with the punches, and I just would tell them that every coach you're going to have is going to want to push you to be your best, and you just need to learn from your mistakes and keep pushing forward.
Okay, and now we can go to the coach Katie, correct? Who's the coach now? Is she in constant communication with Coach Donahue? Is that how that has worked?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen Coach Donahue then? Does she can show up for watch a game or two?
Yeah, she's come to a few games. Yeah.
Okay. She brought the baby with her.
No.
Sadly not.
sadly not.
I'm kind of waiting for that.
That's what you're waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last spring is again. I think like I said, I had Coach Donahue on, and you mentioned a middle school team. How close are we to that happening?
Honestly, right now I think it's just an idea,
Okay.
and that has been floating around because I know a couple years ago Bruce Shainwald, the old coach before Coach Donahue, also mentioned doing a middle school league. So I think it's been around for a while, but we haven't really done anything towards it yet.
Okay, two more questions on coaching. As a high school student athlete, what's one thing what one piece of advice would you give a coach, any coach, how to handle or how to deal with high school athletes? Haley?
That's a good question. I feel like we'll obviously push us all to because I think all high school athletes really want to be the best they can, because for most of us this is the last chance we'll ever get to play our sport. So I think a really supportive coach is the best you can have.
Okay, Lauren?
I think really getting to know your players and learning about their headspace, do they get in their head, do they need that reassurance, do they need tough love? I think it depends between players, and I think that's a really important difference to make.
Oh, okay, and Alyssa, what would you say to the coach, or any coach?
I would just say, kind of like Lauren said, to know your players and be able to push them to be the best they can be.
Okay. Final question on coaching or talent before we get to the individual portion where I get to ask you all the fun questions and learn more about you. Alyssa, if I have a 5th grade daughter who's thinking about playing volleyball, if she was sitting right here, what would you tell her right now about volleyball?
To definitely do it, and that volleyball, playing volleyball was the best decision of my life. I've been able to make my best friends through this sport.
Lauren, same thing.
I fully agree with what she said, especially with club. I've met some of my best friends, and it's a really good sport to play, and I would definitely tell her to do club.
Okay, and
You took mine.
Haley?
I was going to say tell her to do club. It really helps a lot. We have a couple girls on the team who started in middle school, and they're both so phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, but I would say,
Twins.
I would say to definitely do it. It's so much fun.
okay, good. That's great advice, and it seems to be, like I said, we're looking to grow the program, and having senior girls like you guys who speak highly and well about what the program is and what we can do. And I mean, it'd be great to take it down to the middle school to meet with these kids and try to give them good advice as to why to stick with and why to play. Because again, it's not the sport that everybody thinks it is, where you go out in the backyard and you're batting
Definitely
around.
not.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very athletic sport, and you have to really understand a lot of different rules. So those are really good answers. So that gets me to the individual portion. So we'll start with you, Haley. What are the other sports or activities that you do at the high school?
I'm in a couple of clubs. I'm in one, it's called the YDSA, and I'm also in student council.
Okay, and a former teammate that you've had for volleyball that you learned the most from, or somebody you want to look back and say, I really like listening to that person. She helped me a lot.
Probably Gabby Bond or Christina Fediniak.
Tina.
Tina.
Love her.
Yeah, she was a tough name to pronounce when I had her on.
Oh, yeah.
What are your favorite memories or moments you've had from all 4 years of your volleyball career?
Ooh, that's tough. Honestly, probably junior year. I feel like that was the year that I fully got into the sport, because sophomore year I didn't play much on varsity, so I feel like junior year was what my favorite year so far.
Okay, is there anybody you want to credit or who's influenced you in your volleyball or athletic career?
Definitely Nicole Trudeau. She's the she's the athletic director for Evo, and she's the person who pushed me to love volleyball.
Okay, what are you going to miss the most about this volleyball team, or volleyball in general, or the team in general?
Probably being able to see my best friends every day.
Good. And since you're the music man, what walk-up song would you want to play? What song is going to get you motivated to play your best volleyball, to set your best?
That's so difficult.
That's so good.
Really?
So for team, if we did team walk-up, definitely "Pursuit of Happiness" by Kid Cudi, and then personal, probably something by Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay, and
Big fan.
that's a good.
Yeah.
If I had all the team here and I said what adjective best describes Haley Wilson, what would they say?
Oh.
I hope it would be good. I hope it'd be funny or something.
I would say funny.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then what's the future look like for you, Haley?
Well, I'm definitely going to college, but I'm not sure if I'm going to play volleyball yet.
Any colleges on the line? Or I mean, I know your parents probably ask you every day because we're November 1st. It's application coming up.
So my tops right now are Clemson, Syracuse, and then Simmons in Boston.
Okay, only Clemson because they used to be national champions in football, right?
Yeah.
That's kidding. Here's your chance to look right in the camera right here with my cameraman friend Don and give a shout out to anybody that you want.
I'd like to give a shout out to my parents and also Coach Donahue and Coach Trudeau.
Perfect. Hutch, you're next. No, it says Hutch.
People call me Hutch, it's fine.
Any nicknames that you have from your teammates?
Hutch.
Hutch?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was from soccer though, but it's
okay.
kind of carried over.
Other sports or activities that you do at the high school?
Yeah, I also am involved in some clubs, student council, class representatives, women's studies.
Okay. And a former teammate that you've had that really helped you or influenced you or showed you the way to like volleyball?
Gabby Bond, definitely.
Okay. What are you going to miss the most about this whole experience?
The people, honestly. It's always a slap in the face the day the season ends and you don't see your friends every day after school.
Okay, favorite moment?
Every team dinner, honestly. They're so good.
And walk-up song that you would play?
Probably Pursuit of Happiness or something by Kid Cudi.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're taking everybody's. Don't worry, you can say the same thing.
All for me.
We have a whole playlist.
Kid Cudi's like the team mascot.
Influences or credit, people you like to credit?
Definitely my mother.
Okay,
She's,
good.
Yeah.
And then what's your plans, future plans? What are you looking to do in the future?
Definitely go to college.
Any specific goals there, or we can break some news here? Anything you can tell your?
Well, speaking of November 1st, I actually just submitted my application for early decision for Northeastern today.
Congratulations.
And when I get home, I'm gonna do WPI.
There you go. So what do you want to study?
Something in STEM. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, so you're a lot smarter than I am. Good for you. Let you look straight into the camera right here and give a shout out to anybody you want.
I would like to shout out my mom. Thank you for always supporting me.
Okay, perfect. Alyssa, you get to be last in the hot seat here for Wilmington High School Volleyball Senior Captains. Former teammate that you've had, and it can be, if you have a repeat, it's great, who really helped you along the line with volleyball?
Maeve Cadigan.
Okay, and other sports or activities you do at the high school?
I'm on the varsity girls tennis team.
Okay. And what's your favorite moment of all time for volleyball?
Oh my God. My favorite moment. Oh my God, I don't even know.
4 years, it's hard to pick
4
one.
years. Oh my goodness.
Okay, we'll come back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with team
Moving
dinners.
on.
Team dinners has always been good. My team dinner in particular.
Yeah, actually, you're
That's
right.
biased.
She
What
always
kind of
has
food
the
do we have at
best.
your team dinner?
Boston Burger food truck.
Okay, good. I gotta get invited to these team dinners. Everyone has team dinners, always good food. So, so then, what's your influences, or who do you credit to get you to this point?
Getting me to this point, my cousin Skyla, she's the one who influenced me to start playing, and definitely Coach Donahue and Coach Trudeau.
Okay, and what adjective best describes you on the team?
Loud.
Yeah. And finally, what is your future plans? What are you looking to do?
So I'm gonna go to college. I want to pursue a PharmD, and my top 3 schools are Northeastern, University of Florida, and UConn.
Oh, well, congratulations!
Thank
Nice
you.
schools. You guys all have really good schools, so you're much more elevated than I would have gone to. And look straight into the camera right here and give us a shout out.
I just wanted to shout out my mom and dad for supporting me through everything, and Coach Donahue, Coach Greg, and Coach Trudeau.
Okay, perfect. So I'd really like to thank my guests from Wilmington High School Volleyball Senior Captains, Haley, Lauren, and Alyssa, for coming in and informing us on how volleyball works, and telling us that the most important thing is the team dinners, because they seem to really have a lot of fun, and it was really great to have you in here. I really want to thank you guys for coming in. And for Wildcat Sports Update, this is Jim Boyle, and we'll see you on down the road.